The article on the hijab is full of hatred towards Muslims, analogous to the way many Nazis spoke about the Jews in the 1930s. What we're seeing in Europe today, particularly among some extremist Christian groups, as is represented here, is an increased hatred and polemic towards Muslims.
Paul Williams came up to you and he says, you're a Nazi, you're a Muslim hater, you're an Islamophobe, and we're extremists.
I've made this point pretty much in every blog I write, that actually this is not about hating Muslims. We love Muslims, we want to share the gospel with them. It's a story in all of these hadith about how Umar, one of Muhammad's companions, was watching his wives going to the toilet at night. I'm just showing Muslims what are in their sources. So what I'm doing is to expose this and to encourage Muslims really to think critically about why they believe what they believe.
Muslims need to stop this narrative, this knee-jerk reaction. As soon as you criticize our Prophet, as soon as you criticize the Qur'an, as soon as you criticize Allah, you're an Islamophobe.
So we critique ideology as they should be, Everything should be subject to critique. My Christianity is subject to critique all the time by Muslims.
And we want them to critique.
Yes, and we have that freedom.
He stands up under all criticism.
He has been critiqued, he's been put on the right for thousands of years, and he still stands up.
I read your article a couple of days ago on your blog, by the way. I've never read such. Anyway, we'll let him talk about it. It's full of hatred.
That's what it is, man. Islamophobia.
Wait, it's worse than that. It's more hatred, isn't it?
Where's your...
Oh, of course, yeah. I don't have the text. You have the text in front of me. It reminded me of what the Nazis did to the Jews.
I want to say something actually. I think it'll be fine if I might disappoint you here.
I don't know what's going on.
If you talk about it next week, but I need to prepare myself for that one. To be fair, because I'm not prepared for that. I will not justify Islamic position if I profess that.
What about the
crucifixion? Yeah, we can maybe talk about crucifixion. But I cannot talk about hijab. Let's talk about hijab next week.
Talk about Jesus. I'll talk to you about Jesus
next week in both
Talk about Jesus.
Less. So I prepared myself. We'll do it next week. Is that all right with you?
Lizzie, will you be here in 2 weeks?
I'm here every week.
So the next time she comes,
yes, we can.
Be prepared by next week.
Yeah. It's all right with you, yeah?
This gentleman just called me a Nazi.
No. What I said was, let me clarify what I said.
You're saying that was my big point.
No.
Yeah, put it on the whole. Anti-Muslim bigotry and hatred.
Yes, exactly.
Because I wrote an article about the hijab.
Yes.
Can you quote me something from that article?
Well, I don't have the article here.
Say that.
Well, let me
you shouldn't
explain.
say that.
No, I do say
Okay, unless you've got
in front of a
quotes
camera.
here, because actually that could even get me prosecuted.
It does, my dear. You should be careful what you say.
It's recording now.
You should really bring it. Okay?
No, it's not
I haven't had anybody.
No one reads your articles, but no Muslims read your articles.
You're a Muslim. Are you Muslim?
Of course I am.
And you've read my article?
Yeah, one
So
thing.
you just said no Muslims read
No, apart from me.
Oh, that's a good point.
Can I explain why? I've seen how the Jews were treated by the Nazis in the 1930s. What we're seeing in Europe today, particularly among some extremist Christian groups, as is represented here, is an increased hatred and polemic towards Muslims.
What's the hatred?
In articles she's written, if you read the article on the hijab, it's full of the most appalling misrepresentation and lies about
Shall I tell you what I
Muslims.
quoted? Because I can tell you actually what I quoted. I quoted this Sura. If you want to go to the Founder website, you can, and look up my blog. It's on the hijab. Do read it for yourself. And actually, I'm putting on, to be fair, if you agree with Paul, then just write a note on the Founder Facebook page, because I'd really like to come back to that properly. All right. So
do we have a debate about Islamophobia?
What's the reference?
Shall we debate about Islamophobia?
Lizzie,
You and
tell us the
I,
reference.
on camera. Is it a public invitation?
Can she speak, Paul?
Shall we debate the Islamophobia, Christian Islamophobia and European Islamophobia towards Muslims in Europe, and how, unfortunately, your ministry is contributing to this? I will debate you on Premier Radio, Speaker's Corner, a telephone studio. Will you accept my challenge to debate?
not on camera. It's something I need to do.
Do come back to me secondly, I will debate anywhere on the radio, television and Speaker's Corner about the rising Islamophobia in Europe and how certain Christian groups, extremist groups, are contributing to the hatred towards Muslims in this country. And I will provide
I want to know what she said that was hateful.
quotations and citations from a whole range of literature. It's all online of how people like yourself and other extremists are demonizing Muslims in
What
the
did she
West.
do that was hateful? What did she do that was hateful?
You very clearly.
It's a hate group. It's a hate group. You belong to a hate group.
Right, show us what we've done that's been full of
Your
hate.
article.
What have we done?
Jay Smith is very good at every Sunday. He does it every Sunday. But your
You
article
haven't
on the
given us
hijab,
anything
yes,
specific.
your article on the hijab is full of hatred towards Muslims, analogous to the way many Nazis spoke about the Jews in the 1930s. I will debate this with you on radio or television. Will you accept the
You have
debate?
not brought my article with you.
No, I've
You
read
haven't
it though.
brought it,
I've read
but
it.
you've made lots of claims,
Yes.
lots of very extreme, very unkind claims
No, they're
that I
factually
cannot
true.
defend
They're factually
because
true.
you're also not making specific
No,
statements about
I'm
what's
just
in
walking
there
by,
that's
my dear. I don't have the
hatred.
article. I'm telling you, I read it 2 days
I know
ago,
you did.
and it reminded me of what Goebbels wrote about the Jews. It was full of hate and venom towards Muslims. It lied and lied again.
Okay, shall I
And I will debate you. We can read this article in public. I will debate you in public, on television or on radio, about your writings and the way you lie and defame about Muslims.
So-
do you accept? Do you accept my debate challenge? Do you accept my debate challenge?
told you I-
Wherever you want, television, radio, Speaker's Corner, as many
Lizzie, what we
cameras.
could do, we could even set something up next week if you want.
Yep.
We can do it here.
Right, good.
Lizzie,
You'll
I think,
accept my
I think
debate.
people need to know that everything you have done, you have sourced it in the Qur'an, you have sourced it in the traditions, you have sourced it in looking at the Now, if they want to call that hate, then I would redefine
Jay,
because we have to
her
do
very
that.
first
We've
sentence
got to
talks
source,
about
make sure that we
how
source what
evil
we do.
Islam is because it
we talk about
wear the hijab.
ramifications of
It
what the
fails
Quran
to
says.
mention the reason
And
why Muslims
Lizzie, don't
wear
you also
wear
go to
the
Muhammad
hijab.
as an
It's because of
example?
modesty.
Oh, is
He
it?
fails to
Is
mention.
it?
Do you mention
Shall
that
I-
in your
shall I
blog?
read you what's
Do you
in your
mention that in your
Quran?
blog? Do you mention that in your blog about modesty? Do you mention that in your
I'd like to-
article?
no,
I've
because
asked you
I
a
think we need
question.
to go back to your
I asked you a question. Do
We
you
need to go back
mention
to
the
your
reason
scriptures.
why women are obliged
Yes,
to
I quote this Surah.
in your
I quote
blog?
this
Do you
Surah.
mention modesty?
Okay.
My question
I'm
to you.
quoting.
I asked you a
Why
question.
you have a word in
Lizzie,
Do you mention modesty?
did you go to Al-Bukhari?
She doesn't.
Why?
She
Did
doesn't
you not go
mention
to
the
Al-Bukhari?
reasons
And you
why.
went to Sahih Muslim, did you not? So you went back to
Not
their
on my
authority
blog.
to
I
find the
did go-
context of why this verse was revealed.
Right, let
Surah
me show
33
you.
ayat
It's like
59.
it's like Nazis quoting the Talmud. They go to selected bits of the Talmud and they say, "Look how evil the Jews are."
Can you
Jay
be quiet
Smith
for 1
and
minute? Because you're- because you're
go
calling
to
me a
selected
Nazi
bits of the
over and over
Quran
again.
and Hadith, like the Nazis did with the Jews,
When we
to
get to Lizzie,
demonize.
we're putting this up. We'll put this up probably tomorrow, right?
Women who
I
follow
want
the
people to
Islamic
go up,
faith.
and I want people to see
that's what
whether or not you've done that.
And that's
He's
what
just
you
called me a
do.
Nazi over and over again
Yes,
with no
you're
proof.
like them.
He's not cited anything that I've
I
written. He's
have.
just talked about my
I
article.
have.
He's not given me any
I have.
quotations, nothing like that. He's just called me a Nazi and an extremist and an Islamophobe
You
over
are.
and over again. So I'm not going to
You're part
engage
of
with you
an
if this
of an
is how you do
extremist
it. I'm not going to engage with you.
They're both part of
This is how you
extremist
do
hate
it.
groups. And when Jay Lizzie Shores,
And this is
to
going to
go
be
back to where he's
fascinating
come from,
how now criticizing the Quran is known as fascist hatred and Nazism.
No.
Anytime we criticize the
talking about
Quran,
her
anytime we
writings,
criticize the
that she
criticism, we're going to
fails to
have this kind of
mention- she fails to
Islamophobic
mention
rhetoric. that
why
comes up. They only have
women
one
wear the
narrative.
hijab
They don't want to
for
defend it.
modesty's
They
sake.
only want to
He doesn't mention
them
that.
against us.
All he does
now, what
is
we
to-
say to people, go and watch tomorrow when we put this up online. Go and see if she does fall under those rubrics.
Yes,
She does.
and
You will
if I
find that
do,
she does
I
not.
want to know
She
about
does.
it because actually
Let's
I
have
take
a
it very
debate.
seriously.
Let's have a
I'm
debate.
not someone that
Do you
hates
agree to have a
Muslims.
debate?
Wait a minute, I love
You are
Muslims
invited.
and I want them to
No,
be
you
saved
don't. You
forever by
hate
Jesus
Muslims.
Christ. That's why I
You
love
hate
them because I
Do you
love
love
Muslims.
Paul?
You hate
I love
Muslims.
Paul.
Listen, do you love
I
Paul?
love Paul, not like I love my husband.
I love
Paul.
me.
I
You
love
love
him
me.
God
because
bless
he's
you.
made in the image of God.
Give me a hug.
He's
We
made
all
in
love
the image
you.
of God. He's made
Shake hands.
even though he called me a Nazi.
Even though as a
I love
Muslim,
this man.
woman
Because
represents a hate
I
group.
want-
I will still shake her hand and give her a hug, even though she represents a hate group and lies against Muslims.
Then you see now,
This is
if you
Islam.
criticize
This is
Islam,
Islam.
it's hatred. You can criticize Christianity,
You lie
and we
about
love you.
Islam.
Criticize us all you want. Criticize Jesus. Criticize the Bible. We will still love you and not call you names. Come on, crafted Jesus, folks. He wins every one of these debates. If the only defense you have is that we're being hateful, then I feel sorry for Islam, and I feel sorry for your defense. Get a better defense. Stop saying Islamophobia all the time. Get used to criticizing Muslims. Get used to it.
Have a debate then. Many people in media, the Guardian newspaper and others have noticed a growing neo-fascist.
This is obvious they cannot take criticism.
A lot of hate groups who hate Muslims.
We know this. This is the narrative. You're a hateful person who hates Muslims. You're not Muslim.
The evidence.
Because you're criticizing their authority. I love you, Paul.
I love you too, Jay. Even though
but I do not like Muslims, and I do not like your prophet, and I do not like your God, and I don't like your Qur'an, but that makes me a hateful man. I hope you are not watching TV and video. Thank God at Speaker's Corner we can do this. Lizzie, this has been great. And one of the things, what happens whenever you get off the ladder, we get into these big discussions.
Yeah.
And of course, that was a discussion that blew up because you wanted to do a debate. You want to actually continue this debate on the ground with another man, Abbas.
Yeah, that's right.
He's asked if he could wait till next week.
And I respected him. You know, if he wants to go and prepare his material, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to force him to do that. He's got every right to do that.
But then something came up real quickly, and we need to unpack this a bit.
Yeah.
Paul Williams came up to you and he says, you're a Nazi, you're a Muslim hater, you're an Islamophobe, and we're extremists. He started using all these words against you. What was that all about? Where was he going with that?
I think really that's the only narrative he has. He's been reading my blogs, which you can read if you want to. It's on the Founder website. He referred particularly to this one about the hijab. I asked him to quote me exactly what it was from the article that was hateful. He wasn't able to say anything, but I think what has really annoyed him is just the fact that we're criticizing Islam at all. I think they have no other narrative other than really to interpret it as hating them personally. And I've made this point pretty much in every blog I write, that actually this is not about hating Muslims. We love Muslims, we want to share the gospel with them, but we do want to scrutinize their religion, and we do want to really dig into it and expose it for what it is. And there is some really shocking stuff about Islam that we think people should know about.
The question you had was, why is it the hijab must be worn? Where did that come from? Why did God give this idea of the murka, the chador, or the niqab? Where was that introduced? And we know it's in Surah 33:59. So you went to the Quran, Surah 30:59, but then you want to know the background to that. So you went to Sahih Bukhari and you went to Sahih Muslim. You quoted verbatim what was in both those books to give the story as to why the hijab was introduced. And that bothered you as a woman.
Yeah, it really bothered me as a woman. Just as far as Paul Williams is concerned, I didn't actually put that in my blog. This is something that I just unpacked on the ladder now. But it's a story in all of these hadith about how Umar, one of Muhammad's companions, was watching his wives going to the toilet at night and said to Muhammad, your wives need to be veiled. And then Muhammad gets a revelation where...
next day.
Yeah, like Surah 33:59.
So there's the background to that verse.
Exactly.
Which is what we should do whenever we're trying to unpack the Quran. Look at the background, see what the context is. That's not hate, is it?
That's not hate. That's not hate. I haven't made it up. It's not my own personal opinion. It's not from a Christian source. It's not from a Western source. This is in the Islamic sources. I'm just showing Muslims what are in their sources. So what I'm doing is to expose this and to encourage Muslims really to think critically about why they believe what they believe, what it's based on. I think Muslim women have a right to hear this.
And you, a woman, when you read that, you felt almost filthy. I mean, you felt...
I thought it was incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I was really a bit horrified.
Yeah.
I was horrified that Muhammad didn't confront his followers about spying on his wife, going to the toilet, which would be a criminal offence today, frankly, a peeping Tom offence, you know. I was shocked really that it was Umar who was driving this verse to be revealed. Umar doesn't have any prophetic authority. It seems very convenient that Muhammad gets this verse. There's no suggestion that Muhammad prays that he has any kind of spiritual connection to God by which this verse is. It's all about you know, what has Sauda done wrong? Sauda hasn't done anything wrong. All she's done is gone to the toilet. Yeah. And it's the same with the verse that we read in Surah 33, ayah 59. It says, women, cover yourselves so you will not be harmed, so you won't be sexually harassed. Yep. The women haven't done anything. This is for their protection against men doing something to them. I think Muslim women have a right to know this.
And not only that, look where we're at. This is Speaker's Corner. Where else but at Speaker's Corner should you have the freedom to do this? Where else but on your own blog should you have the freedom to do this? There's no one else really unpacking these verses. You're the first one that I've heard to come up with this kind of problem. It's important that the Muslim women start to not only realize what it's like as a Western woman to come across, but if we can't do it at Speaker's Corner without being called hatred or Islamophobe or Nazi, then where else can we do this? This is the bastion of freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
This is the one place we should have the freedom to do so. And I hope Paul Williams is saying that this must stop, because if this must stop, then who's going to hold Islam accountable? Who's going to hold the Quran accountable? Who's going to hold Muhammad accountable? And who's going to hold Allah accountable?
And I
Paul
think
Williams?
Absolutely not.
Especially
he doesn't want to do that.
issue,
He doesn't want to do that.
I want a woman to do this, and that's why you're the best at it. I hope you're all picking this up.
Yeah.
I hope this is not going to be a problem in the future, but I think Muslims need to stop this narrative, this knee-jerk reaction. As soon as you criticize our prophet, as soon as you criticize the Quran, as soon as you criticize Allah, you're an Islamophobe.
And I want to make a point actually about that term, Jay, about Islamophobia. I think we need just to stop using it. I think we need to stop using it ourselves. It's a nonsense term, actually.
You have another term, don't you?
Yeah. That term is Islamocriticism.
You're an Islamocritic.
Yeah, I'm an Islamocritic because I criticise because it makes much more sense.
I like that word.
You can critique an ideology, and that's fair enough.
See, we let people criticize us.
No.
They criticize Jesus every day. How many times have they done it today?
And it's not racist, because people think that they conflate Islamophobia with racism. You know, I can't critique the fact that you've got grey hair and you've got glasses. That doesn't make sense. But I can critique ideas.
I can call you Smithophobic, or if we start criticizing Jesus, Christophobic. But we don't use those kind of words. But we critique ideas. We critique ideas, and we critique ideology as they should be. As they should be. Everything should be subject to critique. My Christianity is subject to critique all the time by Muslims. And we want them to critique.
Yes, and we have that freedom.
He stands up under all criticism.
He has been critiqued. He's been put on the mic for thousands of years, and he still stands up under criticism. That's why I love Jesus.
Muhammad can't be criticized.
No.
There must be something about he's so weak, the Quran is so weak, that the only defense they have is, you're a fanatic, you're an extremist.
Exactly, and I think also the term Islamophobia, it makes Islam look weak. It makes Islam look weak because it just makes it look like it's always the victim, and then it can't withstand the criticism. So I don't actually think, and my Muslim friends here at Speaker's Corner, they wouldn't see Islam in that way. So I think actually it doesn't do them any favours.
It doesn't do them any favours.
So
it makes their prophet look weak, their book look weak, their God look weak. Listen, thanks so much. And I think I'm going to call you an Islamocritic from here on in.
Thank you.
Of the first
you
order.
Do. And that's what we are. I'm not afraid to be an Islamocritic. That's fine. But I'm absolutely not an Islamophobe. I love Muslims, and I just want them to come to the true God who died on the cross for them so that they can have eternal life.
Who can take criticism.
Exactly.
God bless you.